Some stories don't arrive as sensational headlines. Instead, they unfold quietly, like shadows creeping through time, revealing tragedies that shake the foundation of a family. For Paris Bennett, this wasn't just a crime, it was the unraveling of everything he had known, a descent into darkness, an irreversible act and a single decision that changed not only his life, but the life of his entire family forever. This is the case of Paris Bennett and the murder that shattered a mother's heart.
This is Ella Lee. We bought this movie camera so we can take movies of her in Paris.
Here, Ella, Santa Claus brought you a bracelet. It says Ella. There we go. Show Mama.
Look, it says Ella.
And on you to open one.
Is that for me? Okay.
Cool! Open this one, Ella.
Here's. Hold your video game up.
In 2007, a crime occurred that left an irreparable scar on the Bennett family. But to truly understand what happened on that fateful night, we must first step back and examine the events leading up to it. The complex dynamics of Paris and Ella, their childhoods, their family struggles, and the dark undercurrents that would ultimately lead to an unspeakable act. Paris Bennett was born into a world filled with love and hardship. He was remarkably intelligent, with an IQ of 142. As the eldest child, he carried the role of the protective older brother. From the outside, he and Ella seemed like any other siblings. Two children growing up together under their mother's care. But beneath the surface, Paris harbored struggles that were far more complex than they appeared. Their mother Charity was a single parent doing her best to provide for her children while juggling multiple jobs. She had already endured her share of struggles. Her past was marked by heartbreak, resilience, and survival. Charity's relationship with Paris was complicated. There was love, but also distance. Paris, an incredibly intelligent child, often felt emotionally disconnected. He craved validation, understanding, and attention. But at times, he felt like he was drowning in isolation. His grandmother noted that Paris was different from birth, unsociable, unaffectionate, and difficult to reach emotionally. Everything changed when Charity became pregnant with Ella. Paris, who had been once the center of his mother's world, now had to share her attention. Resentment simmered beneath the surface. Yet, to outsiders, Paris appeared to be the perfect big brother. He picked out Ella's clothes every day, and she even called him her fashion consultant. People often approached Charity to tell her how lucky she was to have a teenage son who was so wonderful with his little sister. What they didn't see was the storm brewing inside him. Ella adored Paris. She copied everything he did. She idolized him. But Paris harbored a dark resentment toward her, one that would ultimately lead to the most horrific of betrayals. Paris had always shown signs of distress. He used to pound his head against the wall until it bled. He struggled emotionally, but no one truly listened to his cries for help, perhaps because they were already scared of him. Then, in November 2006, just 3 months before the murder, Paris tried to stab his mother. It was a terrifying preview of what was to come.
Hey.
See, bad Ella, bad.
What is your problem?
Mom, what's your least favorite word?
My what?
Your least favorite word. Not clap. Or sentence.
I don't know.
Kill Charity's children.
Paris.
On the night of February 4th, 2007, Charity left her children with a babysitter while she worked a late shift. But Paris had other plans. He convinced the babysitter to go home early, ensuring that he and Ella would be alone. Hours later, the police arrived at Charity's workplace. When they pulled her aside and took her into the back office, Charity could feel something was wrong. Then came the words that no mother could ever be prepared for. She's gone. Disbelief, shock. Her mind raced. Ella? What did they mean? She had only been left with her older brother and the babysitter. How could something have happened? She begged to see her daughter, to hold her, to tell her that everything would be okay. But there was no comfort to be given. There was no trip to the hospital. Only the devastating truth. Her baby girl was gone. Ella was found in her bed, unresponsive. Her small frame was covered in blood, her life taken in a way that no one could have ever imagined. The murder weapon was chillingly simple, an object that should never have been used for such devastation. And the person responsible? Her own brother. Ella was only 4 years old. Paris had made the 911 call himself. He was obviously panicking as he reported what he had done. He initially told the dispatcher that he had hallucinated Ella as a demon and killed her. But Charity doesn't believe that he was truly crying in the call.
Abilene 911.
Hello?
Abilene 911, go ahead.
I accidentally killed somebody.
You think you killed somebody?
No, I know I did. I woke up and I was hallucinating.
You were hallucinating?
Yes, and I thought my sister was a demon and I killed her.
I want you to start CPR, okay? What I want you to do is take her off the bed.
No, I know for a fact that she's dead because
do you want to go ahead and try? It might still help, okay?
No, I don't think it'll help because...
Come on, Paris, work with me.
I know I stabbed her lots of times.
Okay. Paris?
Yes?
Take her off the bed and put her on the floor.
Okay, hold on. Please don't hang up.
I'm not hanging up on you.
I thought she was a demon.
Okay.
Okay, she's on the floor, but I can't stay here because she's all bloody and
Paris,
stuff.
what I want you to do is I want you to put your hands on her chest, okay? And I want you to push 30 times. I want you to count.
Okay.
All the way to 30, and then blow 2 breaths in her mouth, okay?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Paris? You put it down.
She says that wasn't how he really sounded when he cried. When police arrived, Paris displayed no remorse, no hysteria, just an eerie composure. Later he would claim that he simply snapped. He had been angry, upset, and wanted to hurt someone, anyone. He didn't even remember the exact moment he decided it would be Ella. Stabbing her, he later said, felt like a dream. It didn't seem real. Paris was arrested that night. He was only 13 years old. As the investigation progressed, The motives behind Paris's crime became disturbingly clear. He had harbored a deep-seated resentment towards his mother. He wanted to punish her in the most painful way imaginable, and he knew that by taking Ella's life, he was sentencing Charity to a lifetime of unimaginable grief. He wasn't just hurting his sister, he was destroying his mother's entire world. After the murder, Charity was met with cruel judgment from the public. People blamed her, accusing her of being responsible for what Paris had done. The weight of that guilt and blame was almost unbearable. In court, Paris was found guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to a juvenile facility where he would remain until the age of 21. He's now an adult and will be eligible for parole at 33. Doctors warned Charity to change her identity before Paris was released. Despite everything, Paris still communicates with his mother and her youngest son, Phoenix. Charity tries to keep things as normal as possible, but deep down, she's terrified. She doesn't know what Paris will do when he's free. She doesn't know if she will ever truly be safe. Phoenix, Charity's youngest son, was born with a severe heart defect. He had open heart surgery at just 6 days old and required a feeding tube as a baby. When Paris learned about Phoenix's condition, he cried, telling Charity that after all he had put her through, it wasn't fair that she had to endure another hardship. But Charity remains cautious. She loves Paris, but she fears him. She knows what he's capable of. The case of Paris Bennette remains one of the most chilling examples of family annihilation. Was he a victim of his own psychological struggles, or was he something more, a calculated killer who knew exactly what he was doing? This has been Crime Alley Documentaries, bringing you the haunting story of Paris and Ella Bennette. If you found today's episode unsettling, remember, behind every crime, there's a story, a past, and a truth that is often more complicated than it first appears. And sometimes, the darkest tragedies are hidden in plain sight.
Your sister Ella was just a young girl, obviously. What were your feelings towards her as her brother, her older brother?
We could sit here and talk all day about my feelings for my sister. A description of my feelings isn't something that I can give you in the brief time that we have together, because I loved her. I loved her with every fiber of my being. But
you say that in the present tense?
Yes.
I mean, she's dead because you killed her?
Yes.
But you love her?
Yes, I do.
Do you think you understand what love is? I mean, are you capable?
I don't really know how to answer that question. And I'm not saying that to be difficult or stubborn, but it's not simple. So I can't just point at something and say, okay, that's love. I recognize it easily, and I feel that.
Please leave any theories or comments you might have for us down below. We're really interested to know what you think about this case.